Have you ever felt your heart suddenly skip a beat, flutter, or pound for no reason? That unsettling feeling is called a heart palpitation, and while it's usually harmless, it can make you stop in your tracks and wonder if something's wrong. Lately, one nutrient has been getting attention for calming palpitations, and that's taurine. But can this compound found in seafood really help steady your heartbeat? Let's try to find out in this video. But before we get into taurine, let's talk about what heart palpitations actually are. A palpitation is when your heartbeat feels unusual. Maybe it's fluttering, maybe it's pounding harder than usual, or sometimes it even feels like your heart skipped a beat. Most of the time, they're harmless and caused by things like stress, caffeine, dehydration, or even lack of sleep. But they're also your body's way of saying, hey, something's off. Think of your heart like an orchestra. Normally, every instrument is perfectly in sync, playing at the right time. But if one instrument comes in too early or too late, the entire rhythm feels off. That's what happens with palpitations. Your heart's electrical signals misfire, and you feel it immediately. Now here's where taurine enters the picture. Taurine is what's called an amino acid, but unlike the amino acids that build protein in your body, taurine plays a different role. You can find it naturally in seafood, like fish and shellfish, in meat, and even in dairy products. Your body also makes small amounts on its own, but here's the interesting thing. You might not always get enough from diet alone to see the heart benefits researchers are talking about. What makes taurine stand out is that it's actually one of the most abundant amino acids in the human body, especially in the heart and retina. Studies published in journals like Advances in Experimental Medicine and Biology have shown that taurine levels are particularly high in heart muscle cells, where it helps stabilize electrical activity and prevent arrhythmias. Similarly, in the eyes, taurine makes up more than 50% of the free amino acids in the retina, playing a crucial role in protecting photoreceptors from oxidative damage. This high concentration shows just how essential taurine is for organs that rely on steady electrical signaling. So why taurine? What makes it special? It all comes down to the way taurine helps your heart manage calcium, sodium, and potassium. These three minerals control how your heart cells send electrical signals. Every single beat of your heart depends on these signals firing at the right time. If the minerals get out of balance, your heartbeat can become irregular. Taurine's role is to regulate that flow. Think of it as a traffic cop standing at a busy intersection, making sure cars don't crash into each other. By guiding those minerals in and out of your heart cells, taurine keeps your heartbeat smooth and steady. The science here is fascinating. Several studies have shown that taurine supplementation, usually in the range of 1 to 3 grams per day, can actually improve heart rhythm. Some research shows it reduces irregular beats in people who have arrhythmias. Others suggest it helps the heart pump more efficiently, especially in those with heart failure. And beyond just the heart, taurine also seems to calm the nervous system. That's important because stress and anxiety are major triggers for palpitations. If your nerves are constantly overstimulated, your heart often responds by beating irregularly. Taurine helps quiet that response. Let me give you a simple way to picture it. Imagine your heart is like a drummer keeping the beat in a band. If the drummer gets distracted or nervous, the rhythm stumbles. But if the drummer has a calm, steady hand, the music flows perfectly. Taurine is like that calm hand guiding the rhythm of your heart. So, what does this mean for someone who struggles with palpitations? Well, diet alone may not give you enough taurine to make a noticeable difference. Seafood is the richest natural source, but you'd have to eat it almost daily in large amounts to reach the levels seen in studies. That's why supplements exist. Most research points to 1 to 3 grams a day as the sweet spot for heart benefits. That's much more than the tiny amount you'd find in a can of energy drink. Now, before you run to the store, it's important to set expectations. Taurine is not a magic cure for heart palpitations. If you're having frequent or severe episodes, that's something you need to take seriously and discuss with your doctor. Palpitations can sometimes be the sign of a more serious arrhythmia, and no supplement should replace medical care. Think of taurine as supportive. It may help reduce the frequency or intensity of palpitations, but it doesn't fix the root cause if there's an underlying condition. This is where context matters. If your palpitations are triggered by caffeine, dehydration, or stress, taurine might give you extra support by calming the nervous system and stabilizing your heartbeat. But if they're caused by a structural or electrical issue with your heart, then taurine may help only in a limited way, and you'll still need proper medical treatment. So let's tie this together. If you're someone who occasionally feels palpitations, say after a stressful day, too much coffee, or a late night, adding taurine could be like giving your heart a little extra stability. It helps regulate those electrical impulses so your rhythm doesn't go haywire, and it might even make your heart pump more efficiently. But if your palpitations are frequent, lasting, or paired with symptoms like chest pain, dizziness, or fainting, stop right there and see a doctor. That's your body waving a big red flag. Now, you might be wondering, how exactly does taurine do all this in practical terms? Let's walk through it step by step. First, taurine balances calcium inside the heart muscle cells. Calcium is what triggers your heart muscle to contract. Too much calcium rushing in, and your heartbeat becomes erratic. Taurine helps control that rush, keeping the contraction steady. Second, taurine regulates sodium and potassium, the two minerals that set the electrical charge inside your heart. Without balance, your heartbeat can either slow down too much or speed up unexpectedly. Taurine smooths that out, keeping your electrical signals on track. And third, taurine has what you might call a calming effect on your nervous system. Since your brain and nerves influence your heart rate, this extra calming effect is another way taurine indirectly supports a steady heartbeat. That's why researchers are so interested in it, not just as a nutrient, but as a natural heart rhythm stabilizer. And while most of the research has been on people with existing heart problems, the findings suggest benefits even for generally healthy individuals who just want to protect their heart health. But here's the bottom line. Taurine is supportive. It's like having a helpful assistant, not a full-time solution. The foundation of a healthy heart still comes down to lifestyle. That means limiting stimulants like caffeine and nicotine, staying hydrated, getting enough sleep, managing stress, and fueling your body with nutrient-dense foods. Taurine can be part of that picture, but it works best when paired with these habits. So where does that leave us? Can taurine help with heart palpitations? The answer is yes. There's strong evidence that it can stabilize heart rhythm by regulating minerals and calming the nervous system, but it's not a replacement for professional medical care. If you're dealing with occasional palpitations, taurine may give you some peace of mind and a better rhythm. If you're dealing with frequent or severe palpitations, taurine might help, but the first step should always be to see your doctor. And that's it for today's video, my friends. One thing I have to mention is that if you are using canola oil in your diet, watch this video next, where I have shared why you should avoid it and what else to use.